This is To the Front. Tools for today's top agents.
Hey, welcome back to the Front, episode number 21. And I got to say, we've got a good one for you today because we're going to talk about a topic that whether you like it or not, it's here, and it's going to be even more here as the days and years go on, and you do not want to miss this episode of To the Front. But before we get going, let me take you back to the year 1995. In fact, if you asked what was the most popular department store in the United States, most people would be pretty quick to know that that was Sears and Roebuck. In fact, they had their catalog, and everybody knew Sears. It had an auto center. It dealt in everything. And there was a couple of executives at Sears that came to the leaders and said, "Hey, listen, there's this guy named Jeff, and he's starting to like sell things like on the internet. And I really think we ought to look at that. Look at this. I mean, look at that for our business." And the executives didn't really take any time to think about it at all. And they said, "No, who would ever buy anything without touching it? Who would ever buy anything without trying it on? That's preposterous. We're not even going to look at it. We're not even going to think about it." And so who is that guy named Jeff? Well, you probably already guessed. His name's Jeff Bezos, and he started Amazon in July of 1995. And now we obviously know today Amazon is the largest marketplace in the world. And I don't even think Sears and Roebuck is still in business. They do still have a website. Maybe they've got a little store here or there, but they're basically nothing. And that's because they chose not to look in the future, not to think outside of their current reality. And so today's episode of To the Front is what I believe is the next big thing. In fact, it's not even the next big thing. It's already here. And that is AI. And how is AI going to affect your business, especially if you are a captive agent? Heck, if you're any agent, how is the role of AI going to change how you do business? And I believe it is one of those pivotal moments, just like Amazon and Sears and Roebuck. And so to come on and talk about that with me is my friend, Michael Pavone. Michael, welcome to the podcast. How you doing today?
How you doing, Adam? Nice to see you, buddy. Look
What's
good.
up? What's up, brother? You're looking good. Michael Pavone, coming from South Carolina, but if most of you know Michael is the founder, CEO of YPC Media. They are, I don't know if I can say the OG, but you're probably close to the OG of marketing for captive agents. Listen to this. Started in the year 2000. Michael and his team have served over 3,000, coming up on 4,000 different agencies. It's not just insurance agents they serve. They serve all kinds of other verticals with, I'm telling you, the top team in the country to handle your SEO, your media, your social feeds, everything top to bottom. So anyway, I wanted to bring Michael on.
Wow.
How was that intro?
That was a good intro, buddy. I felt like I was on the Tonight Show. That's good.
That's the goal. That's the goal,
That's
man.
the goal.
Well, the reason I wanted to have Michael on is it was probably back, last June or July. We're sitting in a little bar after an event, and he and I started talking about AI and artificial intelligence, and started to talk about how's that going to affect our businesses, and how's that going to affect specifically the insurance world. And so he had some he had some really insightful views on that, and obviously over the last year it's grown even more. So I wanted to bring Michael on and talk about that and all things AI, and then whatever else comes to our mind, right? Because Michael and I every single day serve captive agents with the best of our ability. So today's topic is AI and your insurance agency, and how's it gonna affect it in the next 5 years. So Michael, like I said, I thought our conversation was fascinating, especially as it pertains to the captive agent. So let's just start right there, right? If you've got a crystal ball, let's just say some predictions. Let's just cut right to it. What do you
Yes.
think AI is going to do in the next 4 or 5 years?
So before I just blanket answer that, one of the things that I need to preface is that there's so much going on with AI and that it's changing every minute of every hour of every day, right? We can't even
Yeah.
put a pin on it because it's just exponentially growing. So a lot of what we're going to talk about are actual facts because this is what's happened, and then we're going to we're going to have a discussion about what we think is going to happen, which is going to be more opinionated, more uh, a little bit more was it subjective? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So I want to start with that because, in all honesty, your introduction of Jeff Bezos in 1995 is basically he was selling books online, right?
Hmm.
And everybody, when he went public, every one of the investors and the board of directors were so mad at him because he kept investing dollars and not giving it back to the shareholders into infrastructure. If you remember, he was building buildings. He was building a logistics company first, and then
That's
it
right.
became he was building into the server farm, which is now our AWS, and now he became the largest marketplace. And going back in time, and I'm going back to reference this for one reason, is because 95 to 2023, right? We saw so much technology change, and we saw this company skyrocket. And now in the last 2 years, we're seeing things that we never dreamed of seeing to the point where it's kind of mind blowing. So here's my angle on this, Adam, as I go. I got my head blown away on a podcast driving back from Rochester, New York, my hometown, everybody. Coming back to South Carolina, where I now live with my 3 children and my 4 grandkids. And Joe Rogan's my guy. I love listening to Joe. And he had
Oh,
like
yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg on. He had him on just after the election. So I caught this in the 1st of December. And Joe, they were talking about jiu-jitsu. So the first hour, if you go there, it's them just having fun about what they do for fighting. But then Mark Zuckerberg is now in his 40s. He's married. He's got kids. He's more stable. And Joe Rogan goes and asks him, he goes, "So what do you think about this AI? Where is it going?" And this is what Mark Zuckerberg said. So this is going to put context of the rest of our conversation because this
Yeah.
blew my mind. He said the virtual world will meet the reality world, the real world.
Wow.
Joe Rogan went, "What are you talking about?" He used a very explicit type of a word for it. He goes, "But what are you talking about?" And Mark goes, "It's happening as we speak." He goes, "But in the next 5 to 10 years, you will have virtual reality friends.
Wow.
You will have virtual friends that you're going to actually have conversations with, and they're going to become friends of your friends. And when you're sitting around and you're going to have a card game and you don't have enough people to play the card game, you're going to go, let's just go online and let's get Joe Mazzagrazzi, our virtual my buddy on Meta, and let's get them in the game. And it's going to be like the virtual world and the real world. And this person's going to have a personality. A person without a soul is going to have a personality. So that rocked me. That wrecked me. So now I'm
Wow.
going, what do you mean? So Joe Rogan said, okay, we don't have the tools for that. And Mark goes, yeah, we do. He goes, no, nobody's going to wear those big weird goggles and it won't be. He goes, it won't be goggles, man. He goes, it won't be goggles. We have contact lenses and glasses. It'll be done with those two different types of devices. And Joe goes, you got to be kidding me. We have that now. He says, yeah, we do. He says, but it's not just, we haven't, it's just too costly to be mainstream into society right now. But that's where I see it's going to go. And
Wow.
I went, okay. So everything that I've ever felt about AI pretty much told me I really got to rethink this. So based on that background, what do agents do? And agents simply right now can start with, and I put a little list together here in the fact of they they're going to need to understand that the cheese has moved, right? So the first thing is we have to accept the cheese has moved. It
Yeah.
was
Which is a
difficult
great
for
book,
me.
by the way. Great
which
book.
is a great book. Yeah. And the difference is really going to be for captive agents versus independent agents. So what I mean by that, keyword searches are different now with AI search bots. So an independent agent searches for insurance agent near me, a potential customer, excuse me, will search into independent agent near me, where a captive agent is basically going to get, I'm looking for a State Farm agent near me, an Allstate agent near me, farmer agent near me. People that are searching for captive agents pretty much have been inundated with some phenomenal media and marketing from the captives themselves, the carriers, right? So
Right.
basically, they know when they go on to do searches, that whole thing is they're really looking for the captive agent and an agent within that captive near me. And that leads us to this. If you're a captive agent, how are you utilizing AI tools right now? Because if you're not utilizing them right now, you're in big trouble, right? Because
Yeah, let's pause real quick because that's a really good point. Tell me, what are the tools that agents are already using right now? Do you mind sharing a couple of those?
sure. So basically, if you're utilizing, AI in the simplest terms, and that would mean, okay, I'm using it to create better emails, or I'm taking an email and throwing it into the AI and saying, spell check this and make it a little more aggressive, make it a
Right.
little more unique, that type of thing. So if you're not using it for your emails, you're missing out. I'm using it for my texts because our CRM allows me to text out to my customers. So I'm utilizing it
Yeah.
to make sure I got better looking texts. Uh, Grammatically, as you could tell, I'm a hands guy. I'm a visual guy. You've been around me enough, Adam, to know, that
I love it.
that I'm from that Italian background in upstate New York. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Hey, I was just in Italy last week, and it was like I was around a million Michael Pavones. Everybody, everybody talking like this. It was
Yeah.
great. It was like I was
So yeah. So I need all that help, right? You could use it right now as a virtual assistant, reminders for you on your calendar, your appointments, and have them have the AI virtual assistant help you out.
Yeah.
You can actually go deeper and have a virtual assistant actually check out your emails. I don't trust it yet, but you could do that. You're using AI right now to create content. If you're doing your own marketing inside your own Facebook posting, if you're not using AI for content, for your Facebook posting, Instagram posting, or whatever, you're missing the boat. And you can also do AI for video, meaning I could create a homemade video, feed it up into an artificial intelligence search engine, and they'll actually tell you what you're missing and what you're not missing. Or you can get into certain paid, right, AI products and services that will be able to do that for you and enhance your video content. I would say those would be the easiest of the ones to start using to get your team to use it to make them more efficient. Emails to customers, text to customers, if you're allowed to text to customers, using it to create better content if you got an inside marketing department. If you're doing your own videos, get into a product, an
Yeah.
AI product that'll actually help you out with that. But
Yeah. And agents are already doing this.
they are. Some are, but you'd be amazed at how many aren't. Okay. So the first thing you want to enhance your productivity. AI tools can automate repetitive tasks like data entry, policy comparison, processing, freeing up agents to focus on building relationships and then providing personalized advice. So AI for them, the more they could go to AI, the more time they could spend with the customer.
I
Right?
love that point. So, hey, don't miss that. If you're listening, enhanced productivity, you get more out of your day. The reality is, Michael, you and I each have the same amount of hours as Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg. They've just figured out how to do it more efficiently than we have. And
Oh my gosh, yes.
Chat GPT AI kind of levels the field, right? When it comes to, would you say it kind of levels the field when it comes to how your emails sound and creating simple marketing campaigns and email drips or, whatever, those kinds of tasks.
It makes the playing field completely level.
Yeah.
It does. All right. You got to remember an AI bot, and this is where people miss don't understand the progression on how they're learning. They're learning exponentially by the microsecond, right? So you got to, if you're going to ask a math problem to an AI bot, what famous mathematicians do they have? All that, all that knowledge is all in paper, right? It's all in now on the internet. So that artificial human being that you're talking to is the smartest mathematician on the planet, right? So you got to take credence to the fact that you're dealing and you're working with someone that's far more superior than anybody else on the planet right now. And that's the whole significance of what AI is doing and changing the landscape.
Yeah.
So the other thing is you can improve your customer insights. And this is what we're trying to do at YPC Media too. You could drop, you could drop um, your customer, what you can, I'm trying to put this in the real simplest terms. You could take the data of your customer base. So insurance agent is, it could be income bracket, because you usually get that. How many cars they own? Is it a single mom? Is it a married couple? What type of house? Where they live? And you got to look at your data and say, I'm spending all this money on lead generation and sending people and drip campaigns and direct mail. Be able to look at your data, and you can utilize that by dropping a spreadsheet into AI and say, listen, can you analyze where most of my business is coming from,
Wow.
right? And that right there will tell you is if if 25 to 30% of 100% of your business is coming from one set of profile, you definitely want to invest a lot more money into that customer profile. Where are they hanging out? Where are they on the internet? Where are they on TV? That type of thing. So, you want to make sure you can have improved customer insights. And then streamline operations. That's that virtual
Yeah.
assistant. And throw a chat bot on. If you're an independent agent, throw a chat bot on your website. I know that if you're working with if you're a captive and working with a one carrier, you're not able to do that. But listen, you can do that if you have your own branded website, right? So
Yeah.
you can go outside and brand yourself outside of the captive's name and utilize that website for a chat box and get that website to work for you and index so that you can utilize that technology. And we
Mm.
do that. We put chat boxes on websites that we construct for people.
Right. So they almost act like another one of your team members, and this one doesn't need rest, it doesn't need breaks, it doesn't need PTO. So okay, let me see if I heard you right here. Captive and independent agents are already doing three things, right? They're already enhancing their productivity. I think you said that really well with AI. Two, they're improving customer insights and they're getting them quicker versus spending hours poring over a spreadsheet trying to understand even basic ROI stuff. AI through either Chat GPT or another interface, you can put that in there and it's going and you can tell it what you want to know and it's going to analyze the data for you way better than you can do it. And then the third thing is I like what you said, it's going to streamline operations. Right. So it's going to make things simpler as they go through your sale process. Agents, this is already happening. And this is already happening. This is not what's coming. This is what's already happening. So if you, what I would say, Michael, is let me ask you if you would agree. If you're not already doing at least one or two of these three things, you're already behind. I mean, you are already behind the eight ball. Would you agree with that or no?
100%. And I'm in the same boat as every other business out there. And we're specifically talking about insurance agents.
Yeah.
Is we're all in the same boat. We don't know what the true effects of AI are going to be 5 years from now because, like I said, it's changing every microsecond of every minute of every hour of every day, right? So we can only best say what we have in front of us, analyze that, and say, what do I need to do? So once again, to your point, Adam, and you should even say it even louder. If you're not doing this right now, the simple AI implementations into your company, you're the walking dead.
That's oh boy, hey, I like how direct you are. You are the Walking
You're the,
Dead, right?
you're the
Sears
walking
and
dead.
Roebuck in 1995 did not know they were the Walking Dead because they had all the power, but they were the Walking Dead. Anytime you go to a mall, every time I go to a mall now and I walk around, I'm still glad. I don't know, man. I'm still glad we have malls because I like walking around. But every time I walk by a store, dude, I'm like, how are they still even in business? Like how are even brick and mortar stores still, I mean, minus a few exceptions, but how are brick and mortar stores even in business, right? Because, online, I know in our family, we buy everything online. I will tell you, we hardly ever even go to the grocery store. Just gets brought and dropped off right onto our porch. So you're the Walking Dead if you're not
Well,
already putting
implement.
this
If you're
kind of
not utilizing all the resources that are available to you to enhance, to enhance your productivity, right? To give yourself a
yeah.
competitive edge over your other agents, you're in trouble. And, looking down the pipeline, if you want to agents, this is a simple thing that they can do right now. Every captive agent, every independent agent out there, you need to just watch Lemonade Insurance. You
Mm,
just need to, you just need to follow what their trajectory is because right now in 2025, they have over 2 million active customers. Now, understand Lemonade only operates in so many states. So they stay away from the high volatility states that have a lot of weather, high cost of doing business, high cost of replacing auto
yeah.
parts, that type of thing. Right. And they just crossed $1 billion in premiums.
Wow.
Okay. They're 100%, and I could say this without offending anybody. They were created by geeks that had no understanding really of the insurance industry.
Yeah.
They were created by software people that understood there was a need and they were able to bring it. And so I watch them and I see what they're doing. You need to do that yourself if you're an independent agent or a captive agent and you want to see what people buy from not what buy from a not a person, but go right onto a on a platform and do all of their talk and chatter through emails or texting and purchase their insurance. Let me just tell you, they already have $1 billion in premium and
Wow.
over 2 million active customers. So there's that that myth is gone. So you need to understand they're doing it now. Once they pull in, I'm waiting for them to pull in the AI, the actual real AI virtual system, the Mike Pavone that looks like Mike Pavone sitting there talking to you and having the same cadence and my personality and going, yeah, whatever you need, Adam, what do you need? Well, this is what I suggest. When they pull that in, then I think it changes everything.
It's almost game.
So,
I don't know if it's game over, but it's game changed. I was on Facebook the other day and there was like this little service where you can already get an AI automated person. They look real. They sound real. They have a direct conversation with you. And I think maybe you still kind of know it's AI, but I think it's going to get better and better where you're not going to be able to tell. You're not going to be able to tell right now. I'm not sure, Mike, if you've seen like all the fake news conferences after like the NCAA basketball tournament where they're making coaches sound like they're saying stuff that's just crazy. And you're like, I can't believe you said that. And you're like, wait, hold on. He didn't really say that. That's just AI generated. So it's coming. It's coming this way. Even it's I would say it's already here. So
Adam, let me say, my brother, Jim. My
yeah.
brother is my partner. Been my partner since he was 21 years old, and for Christ's sakes, he's 56 now. So he has created and made 4 movies, right?
Mhm.
And he has a production company that does video and
Yeah.
creates 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour training videos. Actually, will come in and do commercials, whatever you need him to do. He told me a year ago and just reiterated that they will never need another actor, never need another script writer. They don't need it right now. They don't need an actor, script writer. They don't need a director. They don't need anybody. No grips, no caterers, no nothing to make an hour and a half to 2 hour movie. And you cannot, with CGI, tell the difference now. They're at the point where if it's a human being or not a human being. That's why you've got all the actors running to trademark or some way legally capture their name and their voice so that it can't be reused with with the new technology that's available. The actors are in trouble. Your live shows are in trouble. So when I say that it's here, it's here. So we need to understand that that person that potentially could come on and talk to you, Adam, is already here, right? Now, how do they implement it? How do they mainstream this and streamline this so it's affordable for us to use? That's the only thing, the only obstacle that's separating us from actually having human beings with no soul take over a lot of this. That's, once
Yeah.
again, everybody, this is what I see. This is an opinion based on what's real, what's facts. And so that's the big thing. And the other thing is,
Yeah.
and then the question that I know you is on your mind is the way people are searching today for your business, for your agency, is so much different today than it was 6 months ago,
That's right.
than it was a year ago, than it was a year and a half ago. And that is the biggest threat to people that do not have a marketing budget in place that is close to this is I believe in this is depending on is somewhere around 5% of your gross. So if you're a premium based agent, whatever your commissions are, what you bring into the office, 5% of that should be being utilized for some sort of marketing, and it might have to go to 8 to 10%. And you
Yeah.
might be able to get to that 10% based on the savings that you can make in house with employees because of utilizing a lot of this AI technology. The reason I say that
Yeah.
is Google has lost over 10% of its search traffic in 2024. The
Wow.
prediction is, and they've already put it into the cake, is that it's going to be 25% at the end of this
Wow.
year, 25 to 30% at the end of this year. And the reason for that is the introduction of all the new AI search bots, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, Gronk, Copilot, Perplexity, OpenAI, Meta,
Yeah.
DeepSeek. TikTok is even putting its own in there, so that customers are going to be potential customers are now searching for information and businesses on all of these platforms. And the visual that comes back when you utilize them is nowhere close to the visual you get with Google when you
Right.
go and you put in a search and you get a text ad back, right? Or a text
Right.
search. They're saying that that is pretty much going to be gone in 5 years. The search text ad is going to be gone, and you're going to be into a whole new way of getting to your consumer, which means now when YPC Media fights, right? We're going to get into, okay, Mike, what is your SEO, search engine optimization, right? We focus on basically Bing, Yahoo, right? And who else? Of course, Google, right? Google's the number one. You got to make
That's
sure
right.
you
You
get
have to.
business profile set up, the whole ball of wax. Guess what? Now you got to worry about all of these search engines that you're going to be, that all your, it's not even keyword driven anymore. It's going to content driven. So it's basically what your website is saying about you and whatever else you have out there on other platforms. That content is really relevant to you showing up on these AI platforms. So what I say to carriers, excuse me, what I would say to agents right now, go on to Google and just go and insurance agent near me. And then go to Copilot, go to Bing Copilot, and then go, I'm looking for an insurance agent near me. And listen and see the difference on what you're showcased, right? You
Yeah.
can't scroll, there's not multiple text ads, that kind of stuff. So I think everything is going to come to pay for play.
Pay to play. Yeah. And even if Google is not immune, or Bing, I promise you, you and your agency are not immune, which actually leads me to a question that I'm really interested to see how you're going to answer this, Mike. Let's talk about the role of the insurance agent as it pertains to AI. All right. If you say, hey, we can have AI bots that look like real people who can think faster than us, they're smarter than us, they can look at things through a wider landscape. In 5 years, like, I know this is what we're all just predicting here, but what's even the role of the insurance agent? Like, how's it going to affect the agent as a
You
role?
realize that I make a living, that my income that feeds my family and all the other 24 people that work at my company make is on the line here. What do I see?
Oh, that's the same for
I
front runner.
see,
Yeah,
front runner. I see YPC Media. I'm going to start with us first and then go to the agent. I see YPC Media as a consulting company that utilizes and showcases other people's software products that the agent needs in order to get found, get noticed, and generate leads,
yeah,
right? I think that's where we're going to be, is we're going to be in a consulting role because there's no way the agent can figure out all of this. When it comes to the agent's office, I don't know what the captives are going to allow them to do. The carriers are going to allow them to do. Can they use a virtual salesperson in their organization and not a real person, right? Because that would be the way for the agent to really take their costs and have a uh, virtual looking agent talking to their customers so that they could spend more of that money that they save on an employee that they could utilize for marketing themselves. The agent needs to focus on branding themselves. I don't care what
yeah,
carrier they're with, they have to brand themselves. I've been crying for this and saying this from the mountaintops. And I know this is against what State Farm, Allstate, farmers nationwide want to hear, but you have to brand yourself individually. And agents are doing it through Facebook. They're
sure.
giving themselves a brand outside of Facebook. And it's really, really welcoming them to see it's organic. That's how you could fight right now, is make organic videos for yourself. Because remember, what you're showcasing, organic video, if it's your family or you're at a community event or whatever, you're basically saying to the population, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, and this is what I value. And if you could communicate that organically just right now through all the video platforms that are available to you, and even Facebook Reels, right? Instagram. You can do that. Do it, because that's going to help you brand yourself. You should have a branding website. You should have a website that showcases. It should be the Mike Pavone agency, not the Mike Pavone State Farm agency. It's the Mike Pavone
Sure.
Group.com, and
Yeah.
build a branding website that you could send your customers and potential recruits to go visit. That's one way. Now, 5 years from now, if we see the acceleration and what Mark Zuckerberg, just what I just mentioned earlier in the podcast, is true, I don't know if the carriers are going to need agents at all.
Yeah.
Now, there is an age group. I'm one of them. I'm 64, everybody. I'm an old man. So my whole life has been built on relationships, visual relationships, real people, handshakes, hugs, kisses. So I'm built differently, and I will always utilize an insurance agent. Can't do without them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I need to. So, but I'm on the 90-yard line, right? I'm in the red zone. I only got 10 years. I only got 10 yards left, right? So you have to say and take me, okay, I could sustain myself as an agent with these old guys for the next 10 to 15 years. But it's the 20-year-olds up to the 50-year-olds right now. Can I sustain that? So um, it's a tough call. I think we're all going to learn
Yeah.
quite quickly, Adam, if we're going to be relevant or not. I'm hoping that the human being is
Yeah.
relevant
5 years from now. Yeah,
five
I'm
years
with
from now.
you. I think you brought up a really good point, is that I actually believe that AI will never be able to replace a real relationship, a real cathartic relationship. When you and I were in Charlotte a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, right? And we're sitting across, you take me to a fantastic Italian place, and we're sitting there eating pasta and talking. Then you and I got to go to an NBA. I got to go to my first NBA game with Mike. It was super great. I don't know if AI ever can replace those moments in life. So if you want to be relevant in the next 5 years, agent, heck, if we want to be relevant as a company front runner, YPC Media, we have to lean into that which AI cannot replace, and that is relationships, while in the same breath embracing it to make what we do better, to make our relationships richer and easier. And I've heard it said this way. In fact, I believe it was your staff member, Nicole, who was on the podcast, I don't know, 10 episodes ago, 15 episodes ago. And we were talking about, do Google ads really work? She was a fantastic guest. If you've not listened to it, I know you've probably listened to it, but if you're listening and you haven't listened to that one, you need to go listen to that episode. I think it was episode number 7 or 8. But the big point of it was, do you really need marketing? Do you really need Google ads? Do you really need AI? The answer is yes, but it's just to tee up the relationship. It's just to introduce you to more people so that you can build long-lasting relationships. And so I actually would agree with you, even though I am not 60 something yet, I'm mid 40s. I still am in the thing that I'm not sure even though if I could go get my insurance, because you can already go get your insurance right now without ever talking to anybody. You can already do
Right.
that. But I choose with my insurance agent. Number one, he's my best friend. He's one of the owners of Front Runner as well. But it just helps me to be connected with them. So that's a good question, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, for the sake of Front Runner, I hope there's insurance agents. I do, even though Front Runner's been intentional the last 3 years, been building new products to help agents and businesses, things like Revusi. We have a new relationship software that's already been in the works for about a year. A new software that's going to help businesses to get more referrals. So we're already becoming wider in terms of our verticals. But for the sake of our business, I hope the role of insurance agent doesn't go away. But it is important that we have to. Well, actually, I tell you what. Before I give my opinion, Mike, would you, if you were an insurance agent right now? I think I already know the answer, but I just want to ask you: would you lean in or lean out to AI? Lean in or lay out? Would you be one of the resistors and say, not for me? Or would you say, no, I'm going to lean in?
Oh, definitely lean in. You
Yeah.
have to lean in. Actually, there's no other response except to lean in, because if you lean out, you're definitely in trouble. Because we market to many different types of businesses. Insurance is our largest. A lot of what I get from the home service industries is that I get a lot of referral work. And as soon as they say that, I go, yeah, but 99% of the people that you get a referral from chat you online. No, they don't. No, yes, they do. There's not a person in the planet right now that does not look at a company before they give a phone call. Referral or not, number one, they don't remember at the party what your name is. They
Yeah.
maybe got half of your business name. So your presence, that presence online is very, very important, and you have to maintain it. And to lean in means, what we're saying is, to lean into AI is to become more efficient, more productive, and be able to take some of the costs that you're spending right now for productivity, which is extra people in your office, and try to bring that down, so where now you can utilize that more to branding yourself, marketing yourself, number one. Even though that sounds kind of, like you're being you're being like a jerk because you're in the marketing business. No, you need to market yourself. If you just ask anybody, you need to get out there and market yourself. And then you'll have more time to spend with your customer. That's the point. Can you connect with your customer
Yeah.
more by having more time, where you're not always looking to push somebody off the phone or give it to someone down line, or an underling underneath you, when you've got potentiality with a great client to lock up home, auto, and life. And if I was an agent right now, my concentration, and I see this happening with agents that are really, really on top of their game, they're into life insurance. You're never going to buy life insurance from an AI bot.
That's
You need
right.
to see a human being. You need to be able to sit down and talk to them, because you're talking about your life and what's going on, right? So that's number one, life. And if even, and I'm talking captive agents,
Oh,
lean
yeah.
in on the commercial side. Start really going out. I see a couple agents doing that, and actually going out into their neighborhoods and talking to business owners, because business owners will never buy. It's too complicated. Will never buy insurance right now online from an auto from a virtual assistant
Yeah.
online. So the complexity of those plans and what is involved in getting them sold, you need that one-on-one. So you could concentrate now on building and move your company, your agency into other areas that maybe you were just focused on auto, home, right? How many agents right now are buying dollar leads, $3
Oh,
leads at
yeah,
phone call centers in Costa Rica, and they're warming up the leads, and then they're sending them over to their sales reps in their office, and it's all homeowner, it's all auto,
that's right.
homeowner. And that's the easiest part of shopping online is your auto and homeowners, right? It's easier to do that. But when you get into the more complicated products that you have, that's maybe where you can lean in a little bit, have AI take care of a lot of the other, and lean in on the stuff that can give you your best results, higher premiums, but also guarantee your existence.
Yeah, you know what? That's a fantastic insight. Is to say rather than look at it as something AI, something that's going to take your business, it's maybe it's something that's going to fulfill a part that anybody could fulfill, and then that frees you up to do the stuff that I agree that I think would be very difficult to be handled by any other person than a human. And one of those absolutely is life. Is to talk about life, and because it's not just, hey, what's the best rate for life? It's you have to look at, what are your liabilities right now? Who are the people that you're having to care for if you were to pass away? What are the, so there's a whole conversation that goes on around a life conversation. So that's a human. If AI can help knock out some of the P&C stuff that you could get anywhere, well, that might open up more conversations for life. But there's one other product line. I work out next to a guy every morning. The guy's super buff and ripped, so it's not me, right? So I'm like, I want to be like you, but he is
You're in good shape, pal.
hey man,
But
I'm just fishing for compliments, buddy.
that's it. Good
That's right.
looking dude.
No,
Come on.
yeah, I'm weightlifting next to this guy. He's an independent agent, and I knew we were getting ready to have this conversation. I said, hey man, Ryan's his name. I said, tell me what do you think the role of AI is going to be in the next 5 years for an insurance agent? He said, oh, I think actually there won't be any really independent agents other than agents do commercial who do commercial insurance as a specialty. He said commercial is so difficult to write, but it's actually very profitable, that your agents are really going to focus on life, health, and commercial insurance. And PNC might be almost fully automated. So I thought that was a pretty good prediction. It sounds like you sort of lean into that as well. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens 5 years from now. The role of the agent, and how do you lean in, not lean out using AI. But let me say this as we kind of get near our time here. I'm grateful for your time. I know you're busy leading your company, but I'm a big believer that you should not navigate these waters alone. You shouldn't. I mean, everybody has access to Chat GPT, sure, and anybody can pop some stuff in there. But I'm a big believer that you need some specialists to help you navigate the waters, and so that's what brings me. That's why I wanted to have Michael on with YPC Media. Is that's what they do. He says that they want to be consultants. You're already consultants. I've spent time in the YPC office. I don't know if there's a company that does it better in the insurance world. People that know what they're doing. So can you talk about that for a minute? How can YPC Media help agents sort of navigate the AI waters? Is that a service you guys offer? Is that something you help with? Tell me about that.
So we've done 2 webinars on AI, more of a simplified 101 AI webinar that we have anywhere from 30 to 50 people attend on these webinars, and then we put it up on on a special Facebook page for all our customers, over 1,000 customers. They get to see it if they weren't able to make it. We post it on that, and they get some updates on it. And we get some questions. Yes, my whole effort right now, along with our lead team Danielle, my Henderson, Katie Fitzgerald, Ken Collins, Nancy Barkland, and myself and my brother Jim are basically, and my son Joe, who's my CFO. He's got an online. It's called our virtual CFO,
Yeah.
and he's doing great. So he's utilizing a lot of the tools, and he's able to partner up and back with us on what he's using and what we're using. And we're all in about making sure that the next year, 2026, 2025 is here. I have to complete it out, and we're putting together what we're going to do later on is be more of consultants. So for instance, right now, every State Farm agent knows that we utilize the X platform for their business listing management. Got to have it. So we charge for that. Now they can get that through State Farm through DAC and get subsidized for it, but they come to us and pay us to do it
Yeah.
and opt out because we actually work with it, manage it, update it. If you got hours of operation, we do all of that. Make sure we're always adding photos and whatever to all your platforms that will take it in that business listing management. And we're consulting people from that point on their business listing management. We're consulting people on Facebook. You don't have to have us do Facebook. We're more than willing to show you the tools and where you can go to do it. And we can consult to you on a monthly basis of exactly where you're going and how you're doing it. If not, we can actually build templates for you. And then from those templates, consult on you. Now you can go ahead and do it yourself. We're trying to get the agent to understand that they need to get involved in their own marketing. They're gonna have to, because of what I said earlier, is that the organic video content is so powerful right now because the world's a visual world and that's where it's going.
Right.
Is that they need to learn how to do that, and then we could add the other two posts in with products or services that we have. So we're marching to being consultative type of company, have a vertical that we build with all the different products we use that we can attach our agents to. This is what you want to use. You want to use Perplexity instead of ChatGPT Pro, right? We're going through and utilizing all of these platforms to see which one is best suited for each type of business that we work in. And from that, we can build a partnership and a relationship where they can come to us, an agent or a customer can come to us and know that we're on top of it and that we're trying to give them the best avenues they can for their success coming down the road. Because really, we can't, you can't, Adam. We can't do the same thing we did today, tomorrow. It's ridiculous. Right?
That's
I
right.
got to be honest with you, and this is something that nobody should admit to, but I've been in business for 42 years on my own. Since I was 19 years old, I've been on my own. And I could always put together a 1-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and then try to execute. And every year you change, right? You try to look at it. But it was a 1, 3, 5, and 10. I
Yeah.
got to tell you right now, I can only put together a 1-year plan.
Wow.
That's all I could really legitimately do in my brain is to say, this is where we're going to, a 1-year plan, because the cheese is not moving once every 5 years. It's a paradigm shift every day.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
there's no technology that's come out that supersedes the technology that I thought was the greatest technology yesterday. And then you jump on it and you're going, what the freak? I got a commitment with these people. Now what do? I'm paying them $1,000 a month for a 12-month contract, right? And I got someone that's twice as better than them, and I can't break this one. So what do? Is I order the other one, and now I'm paying $2,000, and I'm just running out the other one because I got to stay ahead of the game. It's ridiculous and it's stressful. But I can tell you, you need to put it in your budget. You have
Yeah,
to
that's a good
get
point.
real with your budget. And I hate to bust chops, but if it means buying a $300,000 Lamborghini this year, and you got to put it into something else, because it's going to pay off. Because the truth is, you're going to need to brand yourself, number one, to be relevant. And you need to bring in those efficiencies that we talked about. Utilizing AI, you have to do it. And you're going to have to keep your freaking thumb on your business. It's
That's
not
right.
one of those things anymore that you could be off the snowmobile and still be on the snowmobile ride. You know what I mean? And watch its success. You're going to have to get on and ride. That's what I.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Yeah, I think the days of autopilot from a management standpoint are over. It's just you can't. The world changes too fast. You can't set it and forget it. And Every time I think about YPC Media, I think about scaling Everest. I know it feels like Everest, the world of online media, and how does AI affect agents going forward. And I think about Mount Everest because I was watching a movie the other night, and do you know that 1 in 4 people die trying to scale Mount Everest? 1 in 4.
I
But
saw it. So I'm with you. So keep going.
so
I
1
saw
in
the program.
4, right? But
Yeah.
they send up these, I think they're called Sherpas. They send up people who have done it over and over and over, and then they go drop oxygen tanks all the way up to the crest, to almost the crest of Everest. And so, Michael, how I see YPC Media are Sherpas on Everest is that you guys have scaled Everest. You guys have seen and helped businesses grow and double, triple, quadruple revenue. You've helped them overcome change. And it's like you're dropping oxygen tanks on the way up of this incredible mountain that we call marketing. And so I'm a big believer in what you guys do, and just a huge fan. In fact, if you want to connect with him, I want you to go. There's a website. If you're watching on YouTube, go to ypcmedia.com. Is that the best site to go to, Michael? Is that a good site?
That is the best. Yep.
Yep. You go to
Media.
That's right. ypcmedia.com. You can connect with them on there. They are your Sherpas as you go after Everest. And if you don't think your business needs to scale Everest, well, you're just not looking out into the horizon far enough. You got Everest coming, and you need a Sherpa for that. And so I believe that YPC Media is that. Hey, guess what? I don't get paid anything to say that. The To the Front podcast is here to give tools that we believe that will lead your agency to the top or keep it at the top. And I believe YPC Media is one of those. So ypcmedia.com.
I so appreciate that, Adam. So appreciate it. You know how I'm fond about your company's front runner and Reviewsy and what you're doing, and your Minuteman franchises and your bourbon ice cream. I don't know what else you're doing. You got a son in Italy playing soccer. You got stuff going, bud, and I love it.
I appreciate that.
I pray for you every day.
Boy, I need that.
God blesses you, your house, and everything that you touch. So I appreciate this time to talk, man. It was good. I had a good time.
I'm so grateful for your time. And hey, any final words as we wrap up the podcast, Michael? Anything, and you can totally just say, I've already said it all.
Listen, I would say that the unknown is scary, but if you put yourself in the right frame of mind, it's the most fun you'll ever have. Is going through chaos to get to the other side to see what's there for you. And changes are inevitable, and you just got to roll with it. So here's what I say to everybody. There's going to be failures coming down the road for all of us, but listen, there's also going to be successes. Stay the course, fight, put yourself in a position. We talked about what to do to put yourself in position, and you will prosper. And only wish the best for everybody that is a customer of mine, customer of yours, and future customers. We just ask nothing but blessings for all of you. And let's do it together.
Let's do it together. I love it. Michael, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really, really grateful for your time. All right, that's going to be it for episode number 21 of To the Front. We hope you were encouraged and motivated. And most of all, that you got some tools to help lead your agency and keep your agency at the top. And I believe that's going to be leaning into AI, and you need a guide. I believe that. So go to ypcmedia.com and check that out. Hey, thanks again for liking, subscribing. If you haven't done that, please go do that. We're gaining new followers every single week. So we're excited about that. Next week, episode number 22, you're not going to want to miss it. The title is this: You Need a Coach. And we're going to bring on the David Peterson from Coach P Consulting. You're not going to want to miss episode 22 of To the Front. Until then, man, we're grateful for you. Go lead your agencies with courage and go work and live for something that will outlast money. What I believe that is, I believe that's people. And more on that in a different episode. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.